Just setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. What to visualize? The Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings in front of you, in the sky in front of you. And how you visualize them? They're like a very affectionate parents, and you come home demoralized, and they're waiting to give you full love, affection, attention, so forth. And it's a fact that this is the reality, that they exude such love and affection. Only thing that why we don't see it that way is all because of we being obstructed from seeing them in this form and reaping the benefit out of the meeting with them in that form, all because of the being obstructed by the mental defilements. And as we proceed to cleanse the mind of the mental defilements, then we'll come to see what we say now as very true. In fact, that only if somebody is able to proceed through the path of cultivating unconditional love, only then one can become enlightened, the source of inspiration for us. So since that these are only the enlightened beings, means that they've already proceeded, they've already had the experience of unconditional love towards all beings, including and each one of us, including you. Next one is the Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two kind parents on your two sides, and all the family members, including your children and everyone around you, and everyone here in India, everyone in the world, everyone in Milky Way galaxy, and everyone in the entire universe. And here you are the mother, and all others are like your children. Imagine they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice is finally to unravel, is finally to unfold the ultimate source of happiness that exists within each one of us, irrespective of what religion you're following, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your, say, the social status, irrespective of your ethnicity. Everyone has this potential, whether you're a believer or non-believer, whether you're Buddhists, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, the Jews, it doesn't matter, or even you're a non-believer. We all have this ultimate source of happiness within us, which is amazing, like a gold which exists within the gold ore anywhere in the world. Within the gold ore, although it is not visible at that moment, but the fact that it's a gold ore means it has this gold inside. And how do we know that there's a gold there? By removing the dirt. We remove the dirt one by one, we see that the gold inside will slowly start to shine and glow. Likewise, we all have this potential. So that is temporarily obscured, just as the gold is not visible when in the ore mixed with the soil. Likewise, the Buddha nature within us, the ultimate source of happiness within us, when mixed with afflictions, is not visible. The glow is not visible there. So our job is to separate this treasure of enlightenment, treasure of ultimate happiness, from the mental dirts. And the mental dirts, we come to know that finally it is of three kinds. Okay, let's say two kinds. One is the gross one and the subtle one. Gross one also referred to as the afflictive obscurations, and the subtle one referred to as the cognitive obscurations. And the gross one, afflictive obscuration, which really create disturbance in us, is of three kinds: contaminated karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds. And all these three, somehow they are rooted to the self-grasping ignorance. It is only through eliminating the self-grasping ignorance that the mental stress, tension, depression, all can be got rid of. And this ignorance, how to get rid of this ignorance? It is only by resorting to the counter force, which is none other than the wisdom of emptiness. So this wisdom of emptiness must be employed, reinforced with the help of the driving force, which is bodhicitta, grounded on the renunciation. So it is on this basis that the afflictive obscurations, the gross one, as well as the subtle one, which is cognitive obscurations, all can be cleansed. So that's the purpose. And imagine that you're leading this, and everyone is so happily joining you in this journey. And let us turn to page 3 of the prayer book. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes so send my greatest to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subduers to expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sukada, and protector to your administrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Gyapsuch Dagi Jinso Gibe Chonam Joba Benjir Sanye Jubaraishu Sanye Joda Soge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Gyapsuch Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjire Sangye Drubaraishu Sangye Jodan Soge Chonam Chanju Bardu Dani Gyapsu Che Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjire Sangye Drubaraishu. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Te Shantatha Gato Hyavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramana Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Te Shantatha Gato Hyavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramana Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Te Shantatha Gato Hyavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramana Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. P6. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of the self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times are the obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all, I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries globe. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is no, if you don't have the view. Okay. Let's turn to page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. As we read this, see the qualities mentioned of the Buddha, and see if you have these qualities within you, or at least a part of these qualities within you. If you do have, rejoice. Rejoice. This is how I should awaken this Buddha nature within me. And if you don't have them, knowing that these are the qualities through which somebody becomes enlightened, I should also cultivate, I should also put effort to acquire these qualities. And then once acquired, see how to nurture them further. Okay, this is how we should be reciting the praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and full awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just feel like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from below realms, the one path of sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, Heart Sutra Mantra, page 31. Tiyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Samgati Bodhi Swatyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati 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 Bodhi Swaha. Okay, next page 32, 8 verses, one training. Okay, so we see that in our life, say day by day, we encounter with challenges and difficulties, and then at times we're trapped in a situation where the environment is not at all conducive, and then you just feel so demoralized, loss of spirit, feeling so low, and at times for no reason, even though the external factors are okay, but for no reason, you just early morning you get up and you feel, you just wake up and you feel so low. For no reason you feel so lonely. These things happen. And the question is that what is responsible? So this feeling, whether because of the external factors or because of the internal factors, whatever is the case, there's a set of feelings coming in us. These feelings, just see that what is the main cause of that. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava. All phenomena, they arise from the causes. It's not that things arise randomly. Just see how they come into being. What causes are responsible there? For external factors, for example, say if you have, say the preceding day, the previous day you had some kind of quarrel with someone else, and the next morning you get up and then you feel very low. You are not at all enthusiastic. Or say the previous day you heard something, you heard a bad news, and you feel so low, so demoralized. And the next day, okay, and then no reason, still you feel the same thing. The experientially speaking, it is the same thing. And what is the cause? One, we have the obvious cause, the external factor. Other, there's no obvious external factor there. But in terms of experience, it's the same, which means that it is not external factor that is solely responsible for us having this pain. There must be a factor which is common to both. So that is none other than the internal factors. So in some cases, biological factors, hormonal changes can trigger these mental imprints to say feel lonely, rejected, and the worthlessness and so forth. And sometimes external factors, you meet with external factors, they then trigger these imprints of the mind to let yourself feel worthless, you let yourself feel low, then say the lonely and so forth. So we see that finally sometimes external factors, sometimes biological, say hormonal changes inside, and sometimes the genetics, sometimes the neurons. So all these factors involved there. But all these factors, they are simply the adventitious conditions to trigger internal factor. And the internal factor is the same. Internal factor is self-grasping ignorance and the self-centered attitude. These are the two factors. So if you are really, so this is always the same two statements that we need to keep in mind. That we should be kind towards ourselves and we should be wisely kind towards ourselves. So these two things, never forget. Let us not forget these two things, including myself. We should be kind towards ourselves and we should be wisely kind towards ourselves. So if you are really to be wisely kind towards ourselves, what should we be doing? The wisest thing to do is cut these pains altogether, not just go for symptomatic treatments. Okay, today I'm hungry. I was really hungry, and then I went to the kitchen, and I'm able to get something. So I'm really. This is not thinking of tomorrow's hunger, not thinking about how to get rid of the hunger altogether. Not thinking about that. Just think of removing the immediate hunger, immediate pain. This is how the small children do. So oftentimes, in the very standard texts like this book, there's mention of the childish people who only think about the immediate, the ways and means to resolve the immediate problem. So whereas to be wisely towards ourselves is to look for ways and means to eradicate the problems altogether. Right? That is the wisest thing. If somebody in the state of the sanity, if somebody's asked you, which do you prefer? You want to go for the immediate solution, or you want to go for a solution to get rid of the problems altogether? And of course, everybody will say that I want to get rid of the problems altogether. But in the actual event of doing that, we don't do that. So oftentimes we see that we are not being wisely kind towards ourselves. We try to be kind towards ourselves, no doubt, but then thus far, we are never being wisely kind towards ourselves. We never think of how to get rid of the problems altogether. If you really want to get rid of the problems altogether, it is to get rid of the internal factors. Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude, no doubt. External factors are there, but without these two internal factors, 100% that external factors cannot do anything to us. It cannot stir the peace of mind. For example, like the sound of the hand, the sound of the clap. Say, the two hands are required. It's not just internal factor alone. Internal factor is required, external factor is required. But if the internal factor is going to retort, then it becomes the sound of one hand. Just with the one hand, however strong the one hand is, the sound stops. So likewise, all our miseries will stop. If you really want to be wisely kind with ourselves, think of getting rid of at least one of the two hands. And external hands, impossible. External factors, they're innumerable. Infinite external factors are there, and our lifespan is going to be too short. But we try best to get rid of the external factors to the best we can. Meanwhile, think of getting rid of the internal factor. Internal factors, we can get rid of altogether completely. So that is the wisest person. So in this connection, saying that whenever you feel a little low, unhappy and so forth, if the anger arises in us, that it is my self-centered attitude. Look, again, this is torturing me. Self-centered attitude and self-grasping with me, these two are torturing me. If that comes to your mind, you are a great practitioner, you're a wise person. If the finger goes outside, not inside, goes outside, then we are only looking for the symptomatic treatment. We are not really looking for the ultimate solution, final solution, right? So whereas somebody, the moment the finger goes towards inside, that it is my self-grasping and self-centered attitude, these are the two things which are making me unhappy. If it happens spontaneously, that we point to the internal factors, spontaneous anger arises towards the internal factors, you wouldn't believe. Instantly you will feel the ease of your mind. It's amazing. The moment you point your finger outside, right, the unease increases. The moment the blame should not be turned towards the self. Keep this in mind. The blame should not be turned towards the self. The blame should turn towards this self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. Never blame yourself. Never blame yourself. Never have self-hate. If you self-hate, this is the greatest failure. Nobody can save you if you have a self-hate. Whereas, as long as you don't hate yourself, you're being kind to yourself, and if you really want to hate someone, hate the two internal factors. I hate my self-grasping ignorance. I hate my self-centered attitude. If this is what comes to you, you won't believe. Try it. And eventually it becomes a natural process within you. The moment a feeling of unease comes to us, the blame will automatically go towards the two factors, the internal factors, not towards the self. If it goes towards the self, then this is the final, the hopelessness. This is the greatest of the failure. So whereas the blame should go towards the two internal factors. These, as long as I befriend the two internal factors, I'm never going to be free from these miseries. So this is what should come to us. I should be kind to myself. How? Get rid of the two demons inside. Right? So this should come to us. This is so precious. This is so wise. Right? Okay, if this is what we can do, then all these books, say in the library, we have like hundreds and hundreds of volumes of the Buddha, of the great enlightened Indian masters, commentaries are there. The whole purpose of all these volumes and volumes of the writings are to let people discover that the final culprit lies inside, not outside. Right? And if it really happens to you, that you're able to identify the two demons inside as the responsible for all the miseries, for your own miseries, then this is the whole purpose. You accomplish the purpose. You fulfill the purpose of this, the hundreds, for example, say the teachings of Buddha, where it's translated into Tibetan, we have like 100 volumes. And teachings of the Indian masters translated into Tibetan, they're about like the 200 volumes. And the Tibetan commentaries, there are innumerable volumes there. And the whole purpose of all these commentaries, the treatises, is accomplished. Okay, so with this in mind, we see that 8 verses of mind training, this is a very beautiful text. It will teach us how to ease your problems through identifying the root cause of the miseries, not outside, is inside. What? Hatred and anger within your mind. Hatred and anger within your mind directed towards outside. That hatred and anger, that stops you from reaching out with others. That makes your mind to shrink. Hatred means, I don't like to see you. Hatred. So it shrinks. It does not freely flow. So when the flow is not happening, the mind shrinks, you feel the constraint. That constraint is seen in the form of depression, stress. And if it becomes chronic, it becomes depression. Right? So therefore, the anger is one which makes your mind to shrink and go eventually into depression. So whereas if your mind flows, then this constraint, you are released from this constraint of the mind. When the mind is freed from this constraint, you feel the ease. That is what everybody sees. And if you feel this ease towards all beings, then you get infinite ease. If it is infinite ease, there's no unease. You are free from unease. So this is so beautiful. Okay, so finally we see that it is by realizing the truth, ultimate truth, right? One factor which makes us not to feel the ease is the ignorance. Ignorance which distorts the reality, the within and without. And the other one is the self-centered attitude. Combined together, allowing you to have a sense of anger and pushing all others away from you and imprisoning yourself into a confinement of a very narrow thinking in yourself. And this imprisonment constrains your mind. It creates the unease. It binds you. It imprisons you. So this is what is known as the unease, and eventually will make us to go into depression. Okay, so the 8 verse mantra is a very beautiful text, and it is by no means, it is, of course, when you read this, initially if you don't really understand the connotation, the real connotation there, then you may think that it's a very self-rejection, self-denial thing. This is not. So what is being said there, any kind of denial happening is not pertaining to the self, it's pertaining to the two demons inside. If we are able to read in this form, then you see that this is amazing, beautiful text. What could easily trigger agitation, anger, irritation within you, with this text manifested, or you embody the meaning of this text within yourself in terms of the meaning, then you see that your mind is not at all irritated, agitated, even though you are trapped in such a situation where otherwise you could easily become irritated. Okay, let us read this. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest among us all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds were surmised blinded by ignorance. Okay, we will do 5 minutes meditation. Okay, ready? And I don't see any new face now. We all know how to meditate. So you choose whichever meditation you would like to do, whether breathing meditation or the Buddha image meditation, or I would say one of these two would be good. Breathing or the Buddha image meditation. You just choose, and I don't see any new face here. Okay, 5 minutes, ready? Okay. I think we are on page 181. Right? Page 181 of the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhisattvas, the book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhisattvas, page 181, stanza 31 and 32. Done? Or 34 done? Okay, 34. Sure? 31, 32 is done. Okay, now we do 33, 34. Okay, 33, 34. Again, let me quickly do a review. Just a very quick review, really a quick review. Is that, say, we have, if you think very properly in a life, say if somebody's asked you, so what is the meaning for life? Or the meaning of my life is to finish my university. Some would say that, to get a good job. Some would say that, okay, what else? What kind of meaning of life, right? Okay, so we see that people have different thoughts in their life, right? And in most cases, the meaning of life or the purpose of life, people have in the mind of the three categories, and the indicated in this, the indicated by the author, so wisely indicated by the author in this text, the Song of the Path to Enlightenment. In this text, the most of what the people say of the meaning of life fall under the first category. Whereas if we are to explain the three categories to the people, and the people really understand what these three categories are, then everybody will go for the third, right? Whereas because that for example, say to have a happy life, or say to have a long life, to have a healthy life, to have good money, to have holidays, to have a good job, to have a good family, to have this, that, so forth. So we see that they all fall under the first category. So the three categories of the goal that we can possibly think of. The first one is, say, do we have the ultimate happiness now? We don't have it. So in this state where we don't have the ultimate happiness, lasting happiness, in this state where we don't have this lasting happiness, we seek temporary happiness. So all these what we speak about, they all fall in the category of the temporary happiness, while we are still suffering, while we are still in a vulnerable state. So which means a happiness while you are in samsara, one. So within this happiness that we seek, for example, say a good house or a good car or holidays, or say a good job and so forth, within what we seek as the goal of happiness, are you free from sickness? If this happiness comes to you, what we see, will you be free from sickness, aging, death? The answer is no. But nobody wants that. Now the second question is there a possibility that beyond this, there's a goal where we can be freed from all these problems altogether? Sickness, aging, death, dissatisfactions, right? So if you are rich, again there's a dissatisfaction. If you are popular, again there's a dissatisfaction, right? Saying if you are very learned, again there is a dissatisfaction. So dissatisfaction and dissatisfaction, we see that all problems somehow they are associated with manifested. They are nothing but the manifestation of the dissatisfactions, right? So this dissatisfaction is there a way by which we can get rid of this dissatisfaction altogether? Answer is yes. If the answer is yes, which do you prefer? To go for the total eradication of all dissatisfactions, or just acquiring immediate happiness? Which do you prefer? If you get the second, first one is you will get it as a side product, as a side benefit. Number two. Number three is that, say, you may not have the dissatisfaction. You may not have dissatisfaction, but your happiness, you may not have any dissatisfaction or miseries. But your happiness that you get, the joy that you get, it is very limited. It is not expansive, right? So not only that you, say for example, at the moment, generally speaking, when you're here, your mind either is more neutral in terms of feelings, more neutral or a little bit uplifted, right? In some cases it may be neutral, but for sure not manifest pains at the moment. No manifest pain at the moment. Now, but are you really happy? That this is exuberance, exuding joy coming to you? No. For example, say, the common example that I give is, for example, say, a Nobel laureate in physics. A Nobel laureate in physics. So even if the person is to confront, that Nobel laureate is to confront the physics, 1,000 physics PhD students, he or she is not going to be intimidated, because if she knows that who can challenge me in terms of physics, right? So whereas doesn't mean that the fear is not there, mental unease is not there, but doesn't mean that person is exuding with joy. No. So joy is given rise to by something else, right? So the joy is given by the sense of expanding your love and affection. You expand your love and affection. For example, just recently, there is a young, I would say a girl or a lady, young girl, her child, a very young child, very young, a baby. The baby was going through, say, some problems, health issues. And then the amount of the pain the mother feels, this young girl feels, because of her baby. The baby going through health issues, the pain is so traumatic. It's all because of the love and affection. If you can imagine the same love and affection that you feel towards all beings, then there's no room for anger to arise in you. Anger should be directed towards someone. Now, you love everyone. So anger and the feeling of closeness, feeling of love, these two are just opposites. Anger shrinks your mind, and love and affection eases your mind. So now the point is that if you can expand this feeling of love and affection towards all beings, not having any anxiety, tension, stress within you, and not only that, your mind eases infinitely because of your unconditional love towards the infinite beings. That is the maximum happiness. So number one is immediate happiness while you are not released from sickness, aging, death, one goal. Another goal is that you are freed from your suffering altogether, right? No sickness, aging, death, and miseries. You are freed from all these problems altogether. Number two. Number three, not only that you are freed from these problems, your happiness exudes infinitely. So three goals. Technically speaking, one is the immediate happiness while you are in samsara. Number two is nirvana. Number three is full enlightenment or Buddhahood. Three goals are there. So once you highlight that the goals that is stipulated in this text comprises of three categories. Once you know this, and anyone, whether you're a believer or non-believer, it doesn't matter. Whether you are Buddhists, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, the Jews, it doesn't matter. If these three goals are given to you, and if you're given a choice, you choose any of these three, everybody will go for the third, 100%. It's not the case that what you believe in, right? Whether you can accomplish this or not, this is a question. But if somebody says that these are the three choices, and you go for one, I'll give you. If this is the choice given, everybody will go for the third one. Why in reality people don't go for the third one is because they don't have clue of the number 2 and number 3. Right? If they don't have clue, this is known as ignorance. So people are bound by the ignorance of the other two higher level of the goals. Now, if these three goals are there, the question is whether or not these three goals are achievable. Can we achieve these three? So what we've learned thus far is that yes, what we've learned, Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, everything, whether good or bad, including the goals, if you really seek them, they don't come randomly. They come by dependence on their respective causes. So we have to say, if you want to enjoy apples, plant apple seeds, not mango seeds. Right? Likewise, if you want to enjoy the immediate happiness while in samsara, then you have to embrace the corresponding causes. If you want to get rid of suffering altogether, if you want to achieve nirvana, second goal, yeah, then you have to go for the respective causes. And if you want to achieve the perfect enlightenment or Buddhahood, total awakening, again you have to embrace the corresponding the causes. So the next question is, what are the corresponding causes? For the first one, immediate happiness, the cause given was to engage in the virtuous actions or to refrain from the non-virtuous actions. Particularly, refrain from the 10 non-virtuous actions. In other words, practice of discipline, refraining from the 10 non-virtuous actions. If you stick to this practice well, guaranteed that in your next lives, you will have an immediate happy life wherever you take birth. So this is the first one. So you have to the corresponding cause which is responsible for giving rise to the immediate happiness. The first goal is the practice of the ethics or the discipline, refraining from 10 non-virtuous actions. So the next question is, what are the 10 non-virtuous actions to be got rid of? Right? So 3 physical, 4 verbal, and 3 mental. What are the 3 physical? Stealing, killing, and sexual misconduct. So get rid of these 3. And then what are the 3 verbal? Harsh word, lying, slandering, and idle gossip. So these 4, the verbal negativities. And then the 3 mental. What are they? Covetousness, malice, and wrong view. So these are the 3 mental. So by getting rid of these 10 non-virtuous actions, not engaging in the 10 non-virtuous actions, automatically you practice the virtue or the ethics of refraining from the 10 non-virtuous actions. So with these things as intact there, you will have a favorable, they say, the birth. You will have the immediate happiness while we are still in samsara. You will achieve the first goal. Now, to achieve the second goal, the causal factor to be cultivated must be more intense and must be more noble than the first one, because the goal is much nobler. So for that, what we have learned earlier to achieve the permanent freedom from sickness, aging, death, dissatisfactions is to achieve nirvana. To achieve nirvana, freedom from samsara, what practice should we be doing? What's the causal factor that we should embrace is the practice of the 3 higher trainings. In other words, to first make it very simple is to cultivate the wisdom. To cultivate the wisdom, to eradicate the ignorance which is at the core of all the miseries. And to eradicate this ignorance, we have to cultivate the wisdom, and the wisdom must have two qualities. What are the two qualities wisdom should have? One is that this wisdom should be very bright and sharp wisdom, like a very bright light, number one. And this bright light, although it is very bright, but if it is flickery, it does not serve the purpose for us to have the light. The purpose for us to have the light is to have the ease of looking at things, to have the ease of reading the books and so forth. And if the light is flickery, you do not have this, you don't get ease. So for that matter, even though the light is very bright, other factors required is that the light must be steady. So the light should have two qualities. The wisdom that we need to cultivate to eradicate the ignorance so that we can achieve total freedom from samsara or to achieve nirvana is that this light should have two qualities. The brightness of the wisdom and the steadiness of the wisdom. So the brightness of the wisdom is that we have to cultivate this knowledge, the wisdom, to know the reality, to know the subtle reality. Subtler the reality that you know, brighter is the wisdom. Subtler reality that you know, brighter is the wisdom. So we have to know the reality more subtly. One. Now, after knowing the subtlest of the reality, you acquire the brightest of the wisdom. Now this wisdom should also have the other quality, which is the steadiness. So the steadiness is the mental state. Mind must be disciplined. And for the mind to be disciplined, we see that mind is one which directs all our physical, verbal, and mental actions. The mind is one which directs all the physical, verbal, and mental the actions. When the mind is not disciplined, when the mind is not obedient to you, then the mind gives a very, say undesirable, unhealthy, unwholesome directions to the body, the physical, verbal, and the mental. So the mind must be disciplined. For the mind to be disciplined, so that the physical, the verbal, and mental actions are very healthy, for the mind to be disciplined, we see that the mind can be sort of in two ways. One is the mind which directs the physical actions, the mind which directs the verbal actions, put them into one group. Another one is mind which directs our mental actions. So for example, okay, I don't like you, this is anger. I don't like you mentally. Mentally, say, physically I may be smiling, but deep inside, I don't like you. This is my attitude. This anger within me. So this anger is an action. It's also action. Anger is also action, right? So here, we see that, say for example, say if I dislike the person, then physically what can I do? I can slap the person, I can hit the person, I can bang at the table physically. The verbally, I can insult the person, I can abuse the person verbally, number two. Then mentally, I can think so badly about the person. So these three, the expressions come out when I don't like the other person. Three expressions. Of the three expressions, of the three actions, physical, verbal, and mental, tell me, which is most difficult to subdue? Mental, right? Physical and verbal is all right. For example, hey, even if you want to say something is fine, but don't hit. If whoever starts the physical action will be in trouble, right? According to law, you'll be in problem. The other person might have abused you verbally badly, but if you are the one who first raise your hands, you're going to be in prison, right? Control your physical and control your verbal, right? Control your verbal. Hate speech is not allowed, right? Hate speech is not allowed. You don't go to, let's say, harm someone else, but hate speech can just divide the whole community. So that's not allowed. So physical, verbal, two of them put together is easier to be controlled. And mental, hey, you are not allowed to have anger, right? And then somebody says, what a hopeless person. Why did you go to Tibet House? Right? What a hopeless person. Then instantly, oh, no anger. No, anger spontaneously arises. But physical and verbal, you can control. Right? You can control. That's easier. Okay. So we see that the mind which directs the physical actions, the mind which directs the verbal actions, these two, we put them into one group, which is easier to be trained, easier to be controlled. And third group, which directs the mind to act, like anger, attachment, jealousy, competitiveness, that is very spontaneous. We can't really control it easily. So that's the second category. One is the grosser, one is the subtle. Now, of the two, we see that the controlling, training our mind to control the physical and verbal actions, that is known as the practice of Shilla, practice of the discipline. The practice of discipline is to control the physical, control the mind, to tame the mind, which controls the physical and verbal actions. That is known as practice of Shilla, practice of discipline. Then, after controlling the physical and verbal so well, then you see that you will start, for example, the water, if there's a turbulent wave form there, you will not know if the water is clean or not. Only when the wave, the turbulent, ferocious wave settles, it subsides, then you will see if the water is clean or not. With the wave, the very ferocious wave, you can see as well as very whitish like this. When the wave subsides, then you will see that it's very clean, right? And then you may see the pebbles down there, the pebbles on the riverbed, right? We can see the pebbles, we can see the sand there. So first, the ferocious wave should subside. Likewise, when we are able to control the physical and verbal actions well, then you will start seeing the problem of your mental actions. So controlling the mind. So first one is controlling the physical and verbal. That forms the practice of the ethics, or the practice of the discipline. Then after this, then controlling the mind. That becomes the practice of samadhi. Right? Practice of samadhi. Where the mind, we see that it's already very calm. But still, the calm as compared to when you're physically, verbally, you're very aggressive, the mind is very disturbed. When these two are under control, then the mind, you feel the calmness of the mind. Once you feel the calmness of the mind, then you go into samadhi. Samadhi is very easy. So that is the practice of samadhi. Number two. With the samadhi, so in other words, is the control of the physical and verbal as one, control of the mental, number two. These two together creates the stability of the mind. And then on the other side is the pragya, the wisdom. So we have shil, samadhi combined together for what? For the steadiness of the mind. And then the pragya for the brightness of the light, brightness of wisdom. So combined together, three combined together will free you from the ignorance. Once the ignorance is cut, say the root of the poisonous tree is cut, however millions of leaves, poisonous leaves, they're growing. You may try to remove all these leaves, the wind blowing from the leaves there and then hitting my body, creates skin rashes. Okay, so these leaves are responsible, not the root, but the leaves. Then you start removing the leaves. By the time you remove like 50 or 100 leaves, another 200 leaves, new leaves will grow. So it's not really of that much point, that much sense to think of getting rid of the leaves altogether, right? Instead, if you are wise, you cut the root. However millions of poisonous leaves they are growing on this tree, they will all dry on their own. Likewise, when you cut the ignorance, all these negative emotions, attachment, anger, jealousy, so forth, and then the offshoots, the respective offshoots in the form of negative karmas, contaminant karmas, they all will disappear, they all will dissolve. So Once the karma, negative karmas are got rid of, afflictions are got rid of, then your miseries will stop. So, stopping the miseries altogether, this is nirvana. So, in other words, the second goal, which is nirvana, to achieve that, what is the corresponding cause? Is the practice of the three higher trainings. What are the three higher trainings? The higher training of the Shila, higher training of the Samadhi, higher training of the Prajna. The discipline, Samadhi or the concentration, and the wisdom. So these three things. So with these three practices, you will achieve nirvana, second goal. Now the third goal, which is the noblest of all the goals, third goal, which is where you become, say, the achieving nirvana. It is like achieving nirvana. It is like you already have a light. You already have a light, and then so in total dark, you don't know what is around you. If you have a torchlight, then you know where you're going, but you cannot enjoy the beautiful garden. With the torchlight, with a tiny torchlight, focus light, you can enjoy at the most one flower, and one flower is not a garden, right? So if you really want to enjoy the garden, make this, instead of this torchlight, build the sun, create the sun. If you make your mind like the sun, then you can enjoy the whole garden, beautiful garden, right? So achieving nirvana is like acquiring one light, small torchlight for yourself. Then achieving total enlightenment, Buddhahood, is like you becoming like a sun. You become like a sun. You cannot be obscured by any cloud. We see the sun as obscured by the cloud is because that the cloud is in between us and the sun. If you go towards the sun, if you cross the cloud, you see that the sun is forever brilliant there. No cloud can obscure it. Okay, so with this, when you become like the sun, not only that you cannot be obscured by the mental defilements, you can also help get rid of all the mental obscurations of every these single sentient beings. When you become like a sun, you not only illuminate yourself, you can illuminate every atom of the universe. You can help every single sentient beings that exist in this universe. So this is the third goal. How to achieve this third goal? Okay. For that matter, finally, the point is that there should be the driving force, the motivation, and actual practice. The motivation-wise, it should be the bodhicitta, unconditional love, intense feeling of love and affection towards all beings, manifested in the form of bodhicitta. Driving force should be bodhicitta, grounded on renunciation. And then what you should be actually practicing is the practice of the 6 perfections plus 4 perfections, making it 10 perfections. 6 perfections plus 4 perfections, making it 10 perfections. And these 10 perfections, we can see that they say that we can classify them into 2 groups. One known as the ripening factors, and the other known as the liberating factors. Ripening factors and the liberating factors. See, finally, what makes us not become Buddha at the moment is because of the mental defilements. And see, there are some teachings, there are some practices which will help us. Okay, let's just say there are some practices which can directly eradicate the mental defilements, and there are some practices which will help us to gather, which help us to cultivate those, say, factor A and factor B. Factor A is the one which actually cleanses your mental defilements. Factor B helps you to cultivate the factor A. So the factor A is known as the liberating factors, and factor B is known as the ripening factors, which make you to ripen factor A. Right? Okay. So teaching on impermanence, teaching on the miseries, and so forth. All these other teachings are known as the ripening. The teachings meant to ripen a mind, and the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness is the liberating factor. And the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness is the teaching on to cultivating the liberating factor. What's the liberating factor? The wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so with this, we see that the practices, some of the practices are to actually liberate us of all the mental stains, and some practices, they are like the ripening factors of the 10 perfections. 6 perfections plus 4, making 10. Of the 10 perfections, we see that number 6, perfection number 6 is known as the perfection of the wisdom. Number 6 is the liberating factor, and all others are ripening factors. Okay, the 6 perfections, what are they? Perfection of generosity, number 1. Number 2, perfections ethical discipline, number 2. What is number 3? Practice the perfection of patience, number 3. Okay, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm or joyous effort or perseverance. These are the different translations. We have to know these different translations. Joyous effort, perseverance, enthusiasm. Right? Number 4. What is number 5? Concentration, samadhi. Number 5. Number 6 we said. What is number 6? Wisdom. Number 6. Okay, so these are the 6 perfections. Now, on top of that, we have 4 perfections. What are 4 perfections? One is skillfulness. Skillfulness. What is number 2? Aspirational prayers. What is number 3? The power. What is number 4? Discriminatory wisdom. Right? Okay. So of these 10, 6 plus 4, 10, of these 10, the number 6 is the liberating factor, and the remaining 9 are ripening factors. So we have to practice these 10 in order for us to achieve the 3rd goal. Right? Okay, now tell me, what are the 3 goals? What is the first goal? Immediate happiness while in being in samsara. Immediate happiness, in terms of the good, wholesome birth, and then the longevity, then the good health, good facilities, and so forth, good environment, and so forth. Immediate happiness within one is samsara. 1. What is goal number 2? Nirvana. What is goal number 3? Full enlightenment. Nirvana is also enlightenment. We have to say full enlightenment, or in other words, Buddhahood, total awakening, total enlightenment. Okay, so if these are the 3 goals, we have to achieve we have to do what? We have to engage in the respective courses, right? Respective courses. To achieve the first one, what should we be doing? What is the course? To engage in the ethics of refraining from 10 non-virtuous actions. Okay, 1. Now to achieve nirvana, what practice should we be doing? What's the causal factor? The practice of the 3 high trainings. What are the practice of 3 high trainings? Shila, Samadhi, and Pragya. Very good. Okay. Then number 3. What is the 3rd goal? Full enlightenment or Buddhahood. Total enlightenment. So when you speak about Buddhahood, don't think of, oh, this is Buddhistic. This is not the idea. Buddhahood simply means Buddha, simply means the fully awakened one. Fully awakened one. Right? Okay. So to achieve that, what should we be doing? Driven by the force of bodhicitta, we have to engage in the practice of 6 perfections plus 4 perfections. Or what are the 6 perfections? Generosity, ethical discipline, patience, joyous effort. What is number 5? Meditative concentration. What is number 6? Wisdom. Very good. The wisdom. This is 6 perfections plus 4 perfections. What are 4 perfections? Skillfulness, aspirational prayers. Then what? Power, discriminatory wisdom. Okay, some of you may be wondering, why not we say the 10 perfections directly? Why say 6 plus 4. If I can say, if we say 6 plus 4, why don't we say 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2? Right? It makes 10 also. So why 6 plus, why is there a special significance here to say 6 plus 4? Yes, there's a significance. The significance, the purpose is that the first six is to say is primarily to acquire the quality within yourself, to work on the cleansing part. Cleansing of what? Cleansing one's own mind. Cleansing of one's own mind, whether afflictive obscurations or cognitive obscurations. Cleansing, to work on the self. To work on the self. And why should we be working on the self? Why? Is it for yourself or for all sentient beings? For all sentient beings. So therefore, the second set is to emphasize on working for others. The first six is primarily to work on yourself, to cleanse the mind of the mental defilements, just to focus on that part. The second set is to emphatically work for others. For example, say what is one? What is the first one? The second part. Skillfulness. So when we engage with other people, when we go to help other people, we should be very skilled. Right? Okay, say two people are coming, person A and person B, and person B, say you met, so you attended a performance attended, performance by say like 10 people, and person A did excellent work, and then others are equally good, but person A is little outstanding. And the next day you meet person A and person B, right? Person B, both took part in the, and then you say, hey, Mr. A, you did a great job, amazing, you are the best one, right? You made such a wonderful performance. Okay, is this skillful or not? Both of them came out of love and affection towards you, and then now meeting the two is so very sincerely, honestly, innocently coming in your mind. Wow, person, you are amazing. You did such a great job. Amazing, you are the best one. Is this skilled or not? Very unskilled. Why unskilled? Because you are in a way, implicitly you are saying that the person B, you are not good. Right? And the person B did not come here to report to you. Person B came here in order to express his love and affection towards you. And that person is hurt. Your job is not just to glorify person A. Your job is to benefit all sentient beings. And today you discarded person A, you kicked off person B, because of your unskillfulness. Right? So these are the sensitivities that we need to keep in mind. Right? Skillfulness. This is so important. Right? And then a teacher and a student. And student makes a mistake. Right? Student makes a mistake. Right? And then teacher embarrasses the student in front of all the other students. You made this mistake, you stole this, you are a thief, you are this. This is not the job of the teacher. The job of the teacher is not to embarrass the child. Job of the teacher is to teach what the student cannot do. Where the student does not know how not to steal, right? You have to teach how not to steal. You have to teach the value of not stealing. And if you embarrass a child, this person, while physically very young and very vulnerable, person will feel embarrassed. In a way, the fact that you are doing like this, instead of helping, can be dreadfully harmful to the student in the long run. The student may become a burglar in the long run. Okay, now there's no one who loves me, right? There's no one who loves me. Everybody says that I'm a thief. Okay, why not? Then I don't belong to this group. This group pushes me away. So which group will accept me? The burglars, gangsters. Then you join the gangsters. Who made this child become a gangster? It's the teacher. So the job is not to embarrass the child. Job is to, so sometimes you just call the students separately, and then the student's name is say A, let's say Jackie, right? And then, very skillfully, without saying anything in front of the public, right? Then say something very in general, how not to. There's a tendency for the young children to steal these things, but it's not a good thing. And you love your parents so much. Parents will be so unhappy, will be very sad if they come to know that you engage in stealing and so forth, like this, Because these are the skillfulness. Because the child loves their parents so much. So when you use the parents here in this point, that they will be very unhappy, they'll be very sad if they will know that you're stealing like this, and then you don't specify the person, right? You're just giving an overall picture. Then the student will be, I was actually one who stole things. I should not be doing this, right? And then later on, when the child does something good, the same child does something good, you appreciate the child in group, in public. You appreciate the child, right? You acknowledge the goodness the child engaged in. Then the child will be so happy to his home, happy to his you. Because the child feels so happy to his you, child feels like doing what you say, right? And next time, then you tell the child, in fact, even when I was a child, I also tended towards stealing things like this. This is actually not good, right? So, in my eyes, you are a wonderful boy. You are a wonderful girl. In my eyes, right? You are wonderful. Any problem that you have, you must let me know, right? Like this, you just give love and affection. Child will stop doing all these things. 90% of such cases, child will change. Your job is to transform the person, not to embarrass the person and to make the person throw the person into a gutter. This is not a job. And make the person a burglar, a professional burglar. This is not a job. Your job is to transform the child. So in the pretext of you doing your job to say that this child has stolen and like this, your job as a teacher is to teach. Your job is not to pinpoint to embarrass the person. To teach what the child doesn't know, right? So this requires skillfulness. So therefore, number one is the skillfulness. What is number two? Aspirational prayers. Meaning that aspirational prayers means that I'm good at just helping 10 people around me. No, your job is to benefit all sentient beings, not just 10 people. So those people, 10 people around you, you can practically benefit. Then you do it. And they are infinite beings who you cannot reach. You try to reach out to as many. You try to reach out. And of course we need to think about the quality, quantity. You have to think of all these things. And then practically, whatever is the case, one person cannot reach out to 7 billion human beings, let alone all innumerable sentient beings. So those you cannot reach out. You include them in your prayers. Because, for example, say what we can do, right? We can, help say 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, in some cases 3 people, three. Whereas, for example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, just he goes out, he just shows his face, and thousands and thousands and lakhs of people, they get the joy, which they never experienced before, right? So this is you see that the purpose of benefiting others. You see that there's a difference in the size, expansiveness. So those, at the moment you may not be able to do that expansive as much as what His Holiness is doing, right? For example, what Jesus Christ did, what the Buddha Shakyamuni did, right? Likewise, what Prophet Muhammad did, likewise, say the Krishna and Mahavir, how much, the scale that they benefited beings. We cannot do it now. But what we cannot do, we include that, we do it by including them in the aspiration prayers, that may I be able to benefit everyone the way the Buddhas, the enlightened beings are doing. So this is number 2, skillfulness. No, the aspiration prayers. What is number 3? Power. Now to actually do that, we need the power to do that. For example, say if you are chief minister, and if you are the prime minister, which has a greater power to benefit the beings? Prime minister. So likewise, say the power. Power is the one which makes to materialize your aspirations true. So the power. And how to acquire the power? Again, the same thing. If you acquire the power, it's also dependent on the causes. What kind of causes? The primary cause given by the Buddha, enumerated by Buddha Shakyamuni, is to cultivate unconditional love towards others. Unconditional love towards others, and to respect others, and to really benefit those who are deprived of love and affection. Right? So these practices, in fact, the anecdote of the Bodhisattva Vajrapani. And Bodhisattva Vajrapani, he was holding a Vajra in his hand all the time. Vajrapani means holding the Vajra. He always holds a Vajra in his hand. And then the king of the, Magad, king of the Magad, the empire, Ajatashatru, he had this air of the superior, the physical might. He had this air, the pride of his physical might. So he was curious, what is that thing which Bodhisattva Vajrapani was always holding in his hand? What is that thing? What is that like? He was so curious to know about it. And the Buddha read his mind, and the Buddha asked Bodhisattva Vajrapani, place your Vajra on the table. And the Vajrapani put the Vajra on the Buddha's table. Then Buddha invited King Ajatashatru. Okay, Your Majesty, King Ajatashatru, now you can just see what it is like. So King Ajatashatru was so happy. The Buddha read my mind. I want to know what it is like. Now I get the opportunity, right, to get them. And when they try to grab at the Vajra and try to just lift it up, he could not. Forget about lifting it. He could not even move it. He tried to move it with both hands. He could not. That's why he gave up. And then he invited Indra, the king of the celestial beings, the devas and devis, Indra. And Indra, he thought that, oh, this Vajra is what I always play with. He's known for casting the Vajra in order to demolish his enemies. So he just very casually went to pick it up. He could not. He did the same thing, again he gave up. Then he turned to us, he invited Mughaliana, Arahat Mughaliana, who was known for his miracle powers. Okay, Venerable Mughaliana, please see what this is like. Then Mughaliana, when this same thing, he could not use his miracle power to even move this. Then the Buddha Shakyamuni invited Bodhisattva Vajrapani. Okay, Bodhisattva Vajrapani, now you hold it. And then he just picked it up with the thumb and the forefinger. With the 2 fingers, he lifted like this, he threw this in the air and then grabbed it and put it back. Then King Ajatashatru, he was so fascinated, like a small child, so fascinated by the might or something else. He was so fascinated, and he dare not look at Bodhisattva Vajrapani. So he was only looking at Buddha Shakyamuni. He said, how come that this gentleman is able to do this? Right? Okay, then the Buddha said, it's all because of the practice of the unconditional love of bodhicitta by Vajrapani for all these many eons, many lifetimes, the past lives, that he gained this power. So this power is all because of the practice of bodhicitta. Then the Ajahn, he asked for more details. He said, Venerable Sir, the fully awakened, please tell me in detail what are the very special practices which can make me achieve this power. Because he's so keen, he's so proud of his physical mind. Now he realized that his mind is just nothing as compared to the mind of the Bodhisattva, the who? Vajrapani. Okay, so then the Buddha enumerated list of 10 practices. 10 practices, all pertaining to practice of compassion and bodhicitta. So where, say, to take care of the sick people, to take care of your parents, saying always be humble, not be, not bullying others, and always letting others go first, letting others have the benefit first. Like this, the Buddha listed 10 factors for acquiring that power. Okay, so this is about the power. What's next? Discriminatory wisdom. Discriminatory wisdom. So now, to really benefit others, we have to know what precisely the other person wants. Right? What precisely the other person wants. For that matter, we need to have a very sharp discriminatory wisdom to know the details of the mental propensities, predispositions of the person, and so forth. We have to know the details. What's the background, the detail of the background of the person, all this we have to know. So this can be known by the discriminatory wisdom. Okay. Okay, for example, let's say I'm very keen on, I have so many, the pen with blue refill, and what I want is a black one. And then you bring, say, the best of the pens, say one of the best pens. This is what? Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc pen, but which is blue, right? And then you give this with so much love and affection, so forth. You give it to me, and first thing that I look is that I don't know what company did. I have no clue, right? Okay, I see whether it's blue or red. It's blue. Okay, thank you. Right? So you give with so much love and affection. So this is so expensive. Instead, if you give me just a 10 rupees pen, which is what, black, this would make me so happy, right? Why this problem? Why this problem? You failed. You came here to make me happy, but you failed to make me happy, right? Why you could not make me happy? Because you do not know my tendencies, my inclinations, my likings. You're getting it? So for that matter, we have to know in detail, right? And even the black, again, black, there are variations. There are so many variations of there, right? Okay, so the point is that in order to really benefit others in the maximum way, we need to know the propensities, the inclinations, the temperaments, right? And what time to give, what time to give, where to give. Oh, very complicated, right? Where to give, what time to give, and the body of the pen, what color, what shape. Very complicated. So the point is that we have to know all these things. So to acquire these things, we need to cultivate that discriminating wisdom, the perfection of the discriminatory wisdom, the fourth one of the second set. Okay, so with this we'll quickly see, now we're almost done. Okay, 33, 34, page 181. Wisdom is the eye to see the profound reality, the means to pull out samsara's root. So finally, say wisdom is the one, wisdom of emptiness is like the eye to see the profound reality, right? As I said earlier, subtler the reality you see, brighter is the wisdom. The means to pull out, and this wisdom will, what's the purpose of this wisdom? To get rid of the ignorance and to pull you out from the samsara. Samsara's root, what is the samsara's root? Self-grasping ignorance. The treasure of excellence is praised in all scriptures. So this wisdom is being praised in all the very precious the scriptures, that this wisdom is the most important thing, the supreme lamp that dispels the darkness of ignorance. Realizing this, the wise seeking freedom strive. The wise seeking freedom strives or strive? Strives to generate it. Huh?
Strive.
Are you sure? It's a singular. No. The wise.
No, but the wise are plural. So why? So you see, the wise could be many.
No, could be many. Wise per se is what?
Wise in this context is many.
Okay. So that anyway, just
the strike I think is right.
no. Why I'm saying this is that there's another agenda behind this. We're editing this book still. Okay, thank you.
Strive. It should singular is correct.
Uh-huh.
The singular is
Not the
correct.
plural bit of it.
If
Okay. The point is that this person should know, right? I told her, this person will know, she's editing this work, right? Okay, this is the point. So once it comes under your attention, then that's good. We can discuss later. This attention, we should not miss the attention. Okay, realizing this, the wise seeking freedom strive to generate it. Generate what?
Wisdom.
It referring to the wisdom to see the reality. The venerable Guru practiced in this manner. Others seeker of liberation will do likewise. So all these are seeking inspirations from for example, in this case, the author, Lama Tsongkhapa. The practice of concentration of wisdom combined, this is so precious, okay. The power to cut samsara's root lies not in single-pointed concentration alone. Okay, say we need to get rid of the darkness. We need to get rid of the darkness of the ignorance, darkness of samsara. Right? So the darkness of the samsara, the power to cut the samsara's root lies not in single-pointed concentration alone. However, deeply analyzed wisdom, devoid of the path of karma abiding, reverses not the delusions. Okay, there are two things. One is stability, and the other one is the brightness. Right? The brightness without the stability, single-pointedness, the brightness can become very flickery. So it does not serve the purpose for us to read and feel the ease of being in light. Then the single-pointed alone, without the brightness, does not serve the purpose. There's no light there. The purpose is to eliminate the darkness. Without the light, the darkness cannot be eliminated. So single-pointedness alone cannot serve the purpose of eliminating the darkness, and the light per se does not serve the purpose of eliminating the darkness. Because the light, but what's the purpose of eliminating the darkness? For us to feel the ease. And if the light is flickery without the stability, then the ease is not there, right? Okay. So these two things should not be same. If you are into the wisdom, wisdom. What is the single-pointedness? What is this? Is nothing. Finding weakness, wisdom. If this is your approach, this is wrong. Because the wisdom must be supported by the steadiness, stability. And if you say, no, finally you have to meditate. So what meditation? Single-point meditation. You just build the stability, but without wisdom, right? Again, this is one-sided. It will never cut the ignorance. Without cutting ignorance, the liberation is not possible. So these two things should be done together. We must treasure both, not just one-sided. The power to cut samsara's root lies not in a single point of concentration alone. And on the other hand, however deeply analyzed, meaning the wisdom, deeply analyzed, wisdom devoid of the path of calm abiding meaning single-pointedness, stability, reverses not the delusions, afflictions cannot be deleted. Wisdom that precisely discerns reality should ride the horse. The combination is required. What is combination? Wisdom that precisely discerns the reality should ride the horse of unwavering calm abiding. So calm abiding should be like the horse on which the person with a very bright eyes should be riding on, so that this horse will take you to the right direction on the basis of the eyes the rider has. Should ride the horse of unwavering calm abiding and use the sharp weapon of mathematical reasoning devoid of extremes. So what eyes should we have? Eyes to see the subtlest of the reality. Right? What is the subtlest reality? The emptiness which is devoid of the extremes. Extreme on the basis of what? On the basis of the reasoning of the mathematical, reasoning of the middle way. Mathematical meaning middle way. The next, to completely destroy all references of grasping at extremes. To completely destroy all references of grasping extreme meaning, grasping at the extreme what? Extreme of reification and extreme of nihilism. Extreme of reification and extreme of nihilism. Or in other words, what other words do we have? Extreme of absolutism and extreme of nihilism. Right? Two extremes. One which says that everything exists so solidly there. This is one extreme. And nothing exists. This is another extreme. Extreme of nihilism and extreme of the absolutism. And absolutism, we can also say extreme of reification. Right? Exaggeration. To completely destroy all references of grasping at extremes with this expansive insight, the very vast insight meaning the wisdom that unerringly or without error analyzes, the wisdom realizing reality will flourish. So with this very refined analysis, your wisdom, the light of the wisdom realizing reality will flourish. The Venerable Guru practice in this manner, the seeker of liberation will do likewise. So the message here, advice here is that we have to work on the wisdom, we have to work on the stability in combination, not in isolation. 38, 39. What need is there to mention that single point of meditation accomplishes samadhi. So samadhi is what? The steadiness. Steadiness is accomplished by this single point of meditation. Number two, seeing that proper analysis grounded on discretion also gives rise to the very stable samadhi. Now, seeing that proper analysis grounded on discretion, proper analysis is about the ultimate reality, analyzing the ultimate reality. You do the ultimate analysis on discretion, say what is to be rejected, what is not to be rejected, also gives rise to a very stable samadhi, right? But that which unwaveringly focuses on the samadhi, so these two, samadhi on the one hand and the wisdom on the other hand. So at one point, you have to merge the two, where the same light should be steady. It's not that the steadiness is separately and the light is separately. At one point, you have to bring these two together. Say, samadhi we can cultivate separately. So we practice breathing meditation. With this, you will cultivate the samadhi. On the other hand, you study the madhyamika, the ultimate reality. You study ultimate reality separately. So these two initially can happen separately. Later on, as you advance on the samadhi, as you advance on understanding of the ultimate reality, these two things, the same mind should be able to see the ultimate reality. That same mind which sees the ultimate reality should be able to have the stability. the same mind. So the unity must be there. So this unity should have the stability as well as unerringly see the reality. These two things must merge in the one stream of the mind that unwaveringly focuses on reality. Amazing are those who strive to achieve this union of calm abiding and special insight. Special insight meaning, okay, this is one little technical part, calm abiding and special insight. Okay. Okay, just to give you a clue. Say, if each one of us we practice a single point of meditation. Let's say we focus on the image of Buddha, right? We focus on the image of Buddha. Or let's say, right, you just think of, say, number 2. Just think of number 2, right? And you're able to have the focus, very powerful focus, just on number 2. And then, when you're able to do that, when you're able to just maintain this focus. So otherwise, how we do is that you just focus your mind on number 2, and then you focus the mind, and after a few seconds, your mind starts to go into city walk, right? City walk. How often does it go there, right? Okay, city walk. And then movie, your mind, oh, I have a laundry to do. After this again I have to get up and make food, right? So all these wandering starts. And then with the practice, you're able to cut your distraction to all these things, and you're stably able to sit in this concentration, just the number 2. Okay, you're able to successfully sit there for, let's say, 2 hours, let's say. And ideally speaking, if you're able to sit in this for 4 hours in stretch, without any distraction and without any laxity, if you're able to sit in this, just number 2, for 4 hours in stretch, and other factors like the pliant bliss coming, all the other factors intact, then you are entitled to achieve calm abiding, also known as shamatha. You achieve this shamatha. Okay, now imagine that you achieve that level. 4 hours stretched, so fresh your mind, just on the number 2, without distraction, without laxity, so fresh there. Okay, you achieve shamatha. Now, I asked you, okay, now follow the instruction, right? Just maintain the focus. Wherever I ask you to focus there, right? Okay. 2. This is you're expert in this. Plus 3, plus 2, minus 3, plus 1, minus 4, plus 1, plus 2, minus 2, plus 1, plus 3, minus 2, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 was answered. Even though you have such a stability earlier, the moment I ask you to analyze, the stability instantly disrupts. Now, the stability along with the analysis, right? Stability, where the stability is retained while engaging in the analysis. That is very special. That is very difficult. That is known as special insight practice. One is just the pure single-pointedness, and the other one single-pointedness blended with analysis. That one is known as special insight. So that is required, right? Okay. So only when we have the combination of these two things, then you can expect to say move to the. We started the mantra gate gate para samgate bodhiswa, the 5 parts. What is the first one? What is the first gate? Path of
accumulation.
What is the first? Gate means what? Go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your enlightenment, right? So the 5. So these 4, go, they are not just go, and there's a significance there. There's a meaning, deeper meaning there. What is the deeper meaning? Indicating the 5 paths. What are the 5 parts? Part of accumulation, part of preparation, then what? Part of seeing, then what? Part of meditation, then part of no more learning. So these 5 parts we have to have on our fingertips. If you don't know them, you must know them down, right? Part of accumulation, preparation, seeing, meditation, no more learning, right? Part of what are the 5 parts? What are the 5 parts? Accumulation, preparation, seeing, meditation, no more learning, right? Okay. Now, when you first have the combination of the calm abiding and the special insight, where you're able to analyze, follow the analysis so fast without losing your focus, where you're able to follow the instructions or the analysis so fast without losing the focus. That is known as the union of the calm abiding, shamatha, and special insight, the union. The first time, the union, and that too, the union focus on emptiness. Look, 3 things happening. 1 is shamatha, number 2 is special insight, then number 3 is the object, which is the substance of the object, emptiness. These 3 things happen together. For the first time, that happens. Okay. Okay, so that happens during the part of the preparation. Gati, second gati, at that point, you have the combination of these 3 things. What are the 3 things? Calm abiding, special insight, focused on
Wisdom of
emptiness. Focused on emptiness, right? These 3 things together happens where? When you reach the second gati, which is part of preparation. Now these 3 things combined, the combination of these 3 things, again within there are 2. Combination of 3 things on the conceptual level, combination of 3 things on the non-conceptual level. So when you reach the non-conceptual to non-conceptual, when you move from the conceptual to non-conceptual, then you reach the paragate, which part is that? Part of seeing. Then you keep going, parasangate, and then you become enlightened, bodhiswaha. Okay, so that is very important. So it says that, okay, 38, 39, what need is there to mention that single-pointed meditation accomplishes samadhi, seeing that proper analysis grounded on discretion also gives rise to a very stable samadhi, but that which unwaveringly focuses on reality. Amazing are those who strive to achieve this union of calm abiding and special insight, focus on emptiness, this subtle object. The Venerable Guru practiced in this way. I, the seeker of liberation, will do likewise. Meaning that finally this is what I should be doing, right? Don't think that, oh, this is what the author of Lama Tsongkhapa said it, right? This is not what I should be doing. We should be aspired. Lama Tsongkhapa did it like this. So I will be aspired to do likewise. This is an inspiration that we need to take from there. Then the praise be to you who meditate on. Okay, now this was the union of the 3 things. What are the 3 things? Shamatha, special insight, focus on emptiness. 3 things. These 3 things, once you have these 3 things, then we see that this is known as the very refined meditation on emptiness, right? Same, the special insight, the union of calm abiding and special insight, union of shamatha, calm abiding, same. Union of shamatha and the special insight. Special insight, for your information, special insight in Sanskrit is known as vipassana. Special insight in Sanskrit is known as Vipassana. Now keep this in mind. Don't mix the two things. Vipassana explained here, and Vipassana, which according to Goenka's tradition, these two are not identical. Simply because it's the same label, don't think that these two are same, right? Because this Vipassana is a very advanced Vipassana, right? This is what is said here is very advanced, very advanced. For this, first you have to have the shamatha. To achieve shamatha, the minimum duration specified is 4 months to achieve that. Only after achieving that, then you can cultivate. You can put effort to go to cultivate, to practice Vipassana according to this tradition, not that tradition. The label is used very differently. It's not that the other one is very simple, this one is very complicated. This is not the idea. Because the terminology is used very differently, right? Differently. So therefore I usually don't prefer to use the Vipassana in this context. I always use the word special insight, because people easily get mixed up. Okay, it's so difficult, it's mentioned here, so it's so difficult, but in 10 days I can get it, right? So this is not the idea. What they are doing is very good. This is a different system. So what is specialized here, what is specified here, although the same vocabulary is used, but the actual connotation is very different, right? Okay. Now, say you have these three things, the combination of the three things: shamatha, special insight, focus on emptiness. So there what we do is that now that the purpose is to eradicate the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance. To eradicate this, we have to meditate on this emptiness. Emptiness with a very refined mind. Which refined mind? The union of the shamatha and special insight. Right? Okay. So this, now what we do is that what is mentioned here is space-like meditation on space-like emptiness and illusion-like emptiness. Right? What should we be meditating? We should meditate on emptiness. And this emptiness, in a loose sense, the Lama Tsongkhapa, he classified this into two: space-like emptiness and illusion-like emptiness. Right? So when you're in a meditative state, in a meditative session, you actually meditate on the emptiness, which is known as the meditation on the space-like emptiness. Because in this experience, everything dissolves. Everything dissolves. The solidity, everything dissolves. So like space, everything becomes, the space is what? What is the absence of solidity? That is the space. So everything dissolves in this experience, in the samadhi. So it becomes like a space. So that is known as the space-like emptiness, which is the actual meditation on emptiness. Then illusion-like emptiness is when you come out of the meditation, then you have to go to eat food, you have to interact with other people, then you can help, you can give teachings to others. So there you are not going to the space-like emptiness. Then you see the two things. One is that the food, the people, the place, myself, everything appears objectively real. But in my meditation, I know that they are not objectively real. Right? For example, say when you wake up in the dream, you don't see the dream as dream. You see the dream as real. Dream flower is a real flower. Right? Or dream ghost as a real ghost. Only when you wake up, you say, okay, what appeared was a dream ghost, but what I saw as it to be a real ghost. In actuality, it is not. What I saw was not a real ghost. So therefore, it is a dream. Likewise, when you come out of the meditation, then you see that whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm encountering, I see them as so real, but this is deceptive. They don't exist the way they appear to me. They're all coming from a mind, like a movie. Although you watch the movie on the screen, but the movie is not coming from the screen. The movie is coming from where? Projector. Where's the projector? It's behind you. Likewise, everything that we see, that we experience, they are seen as though like while we are watching a movie. And just the movie is coming from the projector, everything's coming from your own mind. When you come to realize that everything comes from a mind, from the subject, but you see them as coming from the object, this is illusion-like. Right? So when you come out of meditation, then you're always mindful that everything's like illusion. So this being mindful, the mindfulness, being mindful of everything is like illusion is known as meditation on the illusion-like emptiness. You getting it? Okay. With these two things happening, when you come out of the meditation, then you meditate on the illusion-like meditation. When you go into the session, you meditate on the space-like emptiness. With these two things, illusion-like meditation, illusion-like emptiness meditation will help you to refine your, invigorate your space-like emptiness meditation in this session. And space-like meditation in the session will invigorate your illusion-like emptiness meditation during the post-meditation, post-session. Okay. 40 and 41, page 182. Praise be to you who meditate on space-like emptiness during meditative equipoise and illusion-like emptiness during post-meditation. Through this union of the method and the wisdom, you reach the method and wisdom. In the meditation session, you meditate on the wisdom. Then coming out of meditation, you see the illusion-like nature. In the illusion-like nature, you practice compassion, you practice generosity and so forth. That's a method. Through this union of method and the wisdom, method when you come out of the meditation, wisdom in the meditation, you reach the culmination of the bodhisattva deeds. So with these two things, then you're able to accomplish the bodhisattva deeds. What are the bodhisattva deeds? 10 perfections. Realizing this, not remaining complacent over incomplete parts, right? So just by single point meditation, you practice single point meditation, this is just incomplete part, it's not complete. Just for meditate emptiness all the time and not on this single point meditation, is also incomplete. So we need all these things complete. Realizing this, not remaining complacent over incomplete part, is the tradition of the fortunate ones. The Venerable Guru practice in this manner are the seeker of liberation, will do likewise. Okay, now entering the path of the Tantra. Having properly generated the path required by both the excellent causal and the result is Mahana vehicles. Mahana vehicle meaning the vehicle of the teaching or the practice meant to achieve Buddhahood is known as Mahayana teaching. And the Mahayana teaching is classified into two: Sutra Mahayana tradition and the Tantra Mahayana tradition. Tantrayana, Mantrayana, Vajrayana, these three mean the same. Tantrayana, Mantrayana, Vajrayana, they mean the same. And why they are different labels, so that we will learn separately. Right? These two, whenever you see the word Tantrayana, Vajrayana, Mantrayana, they all mean the same. You getting it? Okay. So Mahayana teaching can be classified into two. One is the Sutrayana Mahayana, and the other one is Tantrayana Mahayana. Okay, what is the difference? The difference is Sutrayana is the mainstream. Sutrayana is the mainstream. Okay. Same. When you seek, for example, say, when you apply for any government documents, right? There are two ways. One is the general category, and the other one is Tatkal. Do you know this? What is the purpose of Tatkal?
More expedient.
It is much faster.
And more expensive.
Okay, more expensive. Yes, it's quite risky. More expensive, and it's faster. Right? It's faster and more risky. More expensive, you have to pay more. Right? Okay. So the procedure is much more same. Procedure faster. Right? People do it more quickly. So likewise, the Sutrayana Mahayana, Vajrayana Mahayana, what is practiced in Sutrayana Mahayana, everything has to be done in the Vajrayana Mahayana or Tantrayana Mahayana. But what it does is that Vajrayana Mahayana, without the Sutrayana Mahayana as the basis, Vajrayana, Tantrayana makes no sense. Because to expedite, there must be something there, right? Without the food, how can you say that I want to make the food very delicious? So there must be the food there to make it. Okay, one cook which is not so good, the food is not delicious, but the chef comes, first hotel chef comes, and he will make the food more delicious. For that matter, first you have to have the food. Without food, then you call the chef, five-star chef, but whoever the most popular, most famous five-star the chef comes, but if there is no food, he cannot make anything from the air, thin air. He cannot do this. Food must be there. So Sutrayana must be there. And to expedite the path given by the Sutrayana, then the Tantra is added to just make it faster. And how to make it faster, that is a separate topic, right? Okay, so let's read this and we'll finish now. Entering the path of Tantra, having properly generated the path required by both excellent causal meaning Sutrayana, and resultant Tantrayana, Mahayana vehicles, causal Mahayana vehicle, resultant Mahayana vehicle. Rely upon the guidance of a wise adept, wise teacher, and enter the great ocean of Mantrayana, Tantrayana, Mantrayana, Vajrayana, say, embracing the pit instruction in their entirety, give meaning to this birth of leisure that you've obtained. The Venerable Guru practiced in this manner, either seeker of liberation will do likewise. Final dedication. In order to acquaint my mind, I'll slowly read this. Okay. And in order to acquaint my mind with the path and also to benefit other fortunate beings, I've herein explained in simple terms the complete path that pleases the Buddhas. This is what the author said, Lama Tsongkhapa, the second omniscient, the second Buddha. I pray that by the power of this virtue, all sentient beings are never separated from the sublime and the noble path. The Venerable Guru prayed in this manner, I, the seeker of liberation, will do likewise. So this ends the text. Now the following text, they're added by his students later on. Okay, so that we, the students, following Lama Tsongkhapa as our teacher, that we are never separated from him. This is a prayer being said here. Through the kindness of my Guru, I met with the teachings of the unexcelled guide referring to the Buddha. May this virtue be dedicated towards all beings being guided by the noble Gurus, whichever pure land it may be, such as Tushita or Sukhavati, where Venerable Lobsang Taba means Lama Tsongkhapa, the author, my teacher resides. May that be the place where others and I are born as his very first disciples. Initially strive to gain vast learning. In the middle, all the teachings are reflected as pit instructions. Number one is learning, number two is reflection. And in the end is the meditation. In the end, practice diligently, meaning the meditation, day and night. And then finally, dedicate all virtues to the proliferation of the Dharma. Okay, so this ends with the middle length, the short length Lamrim text. Okay, just as auspicious indication, I'll read the first para of page 176. Namo, a song of the stages of the path of enlightenment. Namo Guru Manju Koshaya. Paying homage to the lineage of Gurus, homage to the Buddha, the supreme of the Shakya lineage, whose body is born from a million virtues and excellences, whose speech satisfies the hopes of infinite beings, whose mind sees all things as they are. Okay, we'll do the end dedication prayer. Page 276. 278. Okay, so thus having learned from this text, beautiful text, I'm expecting, or say it would be wise for us to read the same text over and over again. This is so beautifully explained, very concise and very clearly explained, and this will give us the instruction to wisely follow the path, how to wisely engage in the path, to wisely give the greatest meaning to your own life. This is so beautiful. Okay. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful, generously Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as a brave Manjushri and Samadabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones, thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanju Senju Remboche Magye Banam Ke Gyuroche Ke Ba Nyamba Me Bayam Kone Kondo Pe Varai. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization, the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect within the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I attain the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the breastplate with my heart. The path of unity of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protected Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus of the Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who hold our malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origins in particular, even across my life.